Welcome back to Vet Sequence. Here's the final chapter in Mike's story. Before we get into the last part, something I was thinking about was what helped you dealing with these hard times of a death of a sister, of getting in a wreck, or the drinking times. Now I know you probably drank to numb yourself and stuff like that, but what helped you get through the death of your sister?
Anger, I guess.
Everything was just projected as anger.
Mm-hmm. Anger. Till now.
You still dealing with anger issues?
Oh yeah, I'm angry. I'm an angry person.
I'm right there with you, man. I don't think that shit ever goes away.
Nope. You just got to learn to deal with it, I suppose. And deal with it the right way.
Yeah, and that's the shitty thing. That's like the weird thing about psychology is we can help you come to self-realizations, but your self-realization is not the same as Hendrix. So there's like no definite road to mental recovery. You know what I mean? It's very hard to understand. Like there's techniques to target subjects in your life, but it pretty much lies on the participant in the therapy to kind of grow, which is really weird because therapists are just friends. They're just there to listen, being unbiased and just hanging out. And that's why I don't understand why people have to pay for this shit. You know, like nobody's got to pay to fucking talk to me. I enjoy it.
Right. Well, this is definitely something I've never done. Like learning how to talk to people I've never talked to anybody before. Like after the Colorado thing, I got forced by the courts to go talk to somebody. And after I talked to that guy, I was like, oh, that was nice. I realized that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got my shit off on somebody else that's not in my life that, isn't going to, that they don't give a shit. Like you said, they're not judging me. They're just doing what they do. But
yeah,
that definitely helps. You gotta be like, we're so strong. I'm so strong headed anyway, that I was just, like I said, I always just held my shit to myself because I didn't want to burden anybody else. I guess I didn't want them to like feel like they had to hear my thoughts. And even with Haley, it took me a while to get to be able to do that to her with her.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think a lot of that has to do with the stigma of men and emotion, the relationship that men have with emotions. I mean, to start off, we're born not with emotional intelligence that that females have. You know,
Yep.
so most of our outbursts are anger because we don't know how to translate what we're feeling into the actual feeling that we're feeling, which is kind of fucked up. But
yeah,
before we get into the last story, I'd like you to talk about your brother, how close you were with him throughout your life, and give us a couple stories
yeah.
about him.
Well, my brother, I always looked up to my brother. He's 8 years older than me, and that was my big brother, man. Him and my sister Jessica were my two closest people, outside of my parents. And even like when my parents were going out all the time, my brother and sister were always closest to me, even though my brother used to whoop my ass. But isn't that what brothers are supposed to do?
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, he was one of the closest dudes to me. The only reason I ever wanted to come to Arizona was because of him. And then he had kids, and I moved in with him and his family for a little while, and my nieces and nephews. He's got 3 kids. The oldest one is as old as Haley, which is kind of weird. And then my nephew is 21 and my other niece is 20. And then my sister has 3 kids. So I've grown up with them all my entire life. And so, I mean, they're some of the closest people to me. Even like now, the only reason I'm here now is because my parents live here and my nieces and nephew. Yeah. But my brother, he always meant, like I said, I always looked up to him. He always meant everything to me. Anytime anybody, back in the day when I get in fights, I'd be like, you messing with me? You're going to have to fuck with my brother too. And he wasn't even around. Yeah, I was dumb. But
It's the protector, man. That's the older
yeah,
brother. He's there to take it, you know.
yeah, yeah. But he living down here, he got into the lowrider scene, and he'd always been into lowriders, and I like lowriders too. I guess that's the Mexican in me. Got to have your lowrider. Every Mexican needs a lowrider, right?
Yeah, there
But
you
he got
go.
into that. He had a couple cars that he would work on here and there, and he's got a pretty good group of friends he has here. Which one of his best friends is married to my niece Jazz, who's as old as Haley, and he's actually a rapper.
Oh,
And
cool. I didn't
he's
know
been
that.
on him and his brother. Yeah, they were on Mo Thugs for a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll send you some music. But yeah,
Yeah, please.
he's such a cool dude. And
What's the artist name?
uh, the Royal Family.
The Royal Family. All right, I'll check. Is everywhere you can get it? YouTube, Spotify.
You can get it on Spotify. But
There you
his
go.
name is Tipsy Loco.
Tipsy Loco. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, he's a cool dude. Him and his brother, man, they're cool dudes. My brother always had a good clique of good dudes around him. You know, he was a well respected dude, and he had a lot of good friends and good homies that would look out for, me and my family to now. But so once he started getting into the little rider scene, he'd been in that for years and years and years with the club he was in, and well, they started hanging out with this other club of 1% bikers, and my brother just started taking an interest into that because he's always kind of been, he's had trauma in his life. He had a lot of trauma growing up, and so did my sister. Both of my sisters, really, they all had trauma. We've all had trauma. We're fucked up for sure, but we're broken, as some people might say. But he started hanging out with these dudes, liking what they would say and liking what they were about, and eventually got himself a motorcycle and started riding with these dudes and prospecting with these dudes, and eventually they made him like the top dog of the city he was in, and he'd been in it for probably like 5 years, 6 years total of his life. Not up until that point, but
Yeah.
his whole life he'd been in that. But in a couple of years, they made him the top dog of that. And God damn it! Sorry, my dog almost spilled my coffee. I knew that was going to happen eventually, but they made him the top dog of the whole area. And I come to find out he was a lot more OG than I even knew. He was big time down here. So I guess cut to one night, they're trying to take over this bar, I guess, from what I hear. And so he told me, okay, I might jump around a little bit.
Go ahead.
So I used to have this badass lifted Chevy truck, black Chevy truck. And it was my dad's. He owned it, but I had that thing for years. I paid for it. I just didn't have my name on it. I was paying for it. But I think I'd lost a job or something like that, so I couldn't pay for it anymore. So my brother decided he wanted to take it. So he was driving it. He's in this club still, but so he's driving that around down here in Arizona. I come back down here. Me and Haley moved down here so she could become a massage therapist. So she went to school here, and I was working for my brother again, or with my brother, not for him. But he got me on this company he was working with. And honestly, I'm glad that happened, because working with him every day, I got to see him every day.
Take your time, bro.
But he would tell me like a lot of stuff about what was going on with him. And we would talk about everything, with my brother, and I get to see him every day working with him. And that was awesome, because outside of work, he was busy doing his other club shit. And it completely really changed my brother. Like he was the same, but he wasn't the same. Like that club meant more to him than anything. Those guys get into that shit, and they're all probably fucked up, and they're looking for an outlet, and that's what they find. And they think that they're all brothers and all that shit. But so I got to see him every day, and we didn't really see him too much other than that. And I think what had happened was me and Haley moved. Where did we move? Somewhere? I don't know if we were still down here. I can't remember, but I'd go back to the oil field on and off because it's good money. When it would be up, it was great money. When it would be down, I'd leave and go do something else.
Yeah.
I think we were still down here and my brother and a couple of his dudes were trying to take over this bar. And I'm going to jump around again. Sorry. So before that, right before this happened, my brother had his bike was, you knew his bike. Everybody knew his bike. Good people and the people on the other side, they knew his bike. So he was telling me he was going to go get it painted. So right there, when he told me that kind of shit, I knew something was up. And I just had this feeling that something not so good was going to happen. So, okay, I'm going to cut to where I was leaving off. So they were trying to take over this bar, I suppose, is what I heard. And it was like a Wednesday night. And I had texted him. I texted him earlier in the day, I believe. And right before that, I'm gonna jump around one more time.
Go ahead, dude. Go ahead.
So before that, my brother had made a trip up to Salt Lake because they have dudes in Salt Lake, and he was going to see my dad in Green River. So he drove the truck up there to give my dad the truck back. And if you knew me and my brother and my dad, man, we took care of our cars. They were always clean. If we got them a little bit dirty, hell no, they were clean. We would clean them right away. We would spend hours cleaning our shit. But so when my dad or my brother dropped his truck off, somebody had messed up the bumper or the door or something like that on it, had hit it or something. And it was filthy, I guess. The inside of it, my dad said, was filthy. And that was just that's not how he was. That's not how I was. That's not how we were raised. You know, my dad always took care of his shit and passed that on to us. So that was weird right there. And that he was dropping the truck off was weird. So a couple days later, this was the weekend right before he went to Salt Lake, me and Haley lived at our other apartment here that we first lived in when we moved here. And him and his two prospects came by to see me at the pool. They were just in the neighborhood stopping by, and he wanted to see me. So we stopped and bullshit for a little while. And then a couple nights later, like I said, he was at that bar. And I guess what had happened is some dudes came in starting to fight with my brother in the bar. So they knew he was there. So they walked in, started a fight with him, I guess. And my brother's not going to back down from a fight. So he goes outside. And right when he goes outside, they opened fire on him. Fully auto weapon, I guess. And there was shell casings everywhere. And I guess one of the other dudes that was with him got hit. But he had like 21 shots in him or something like that. And then I woke up the next day and I went to work. I was working for Republic Services, driving a garbage truck. So in the spot that I was driving, it was out in the middle of nowhere, but I worked in this place called New River, and it's just like dirt roads everywhere and houses all over. It's like hillbilly shit for sure. I know what hillbilly shit is, but so I've always heard that if you see a barn owl in the daytime, that it's bad luck and someone's going to die. So in the same spot, no shit, before this happened, I seen a barn owl. I was on training, and me and my buddy saw this barn owl just flew right across the windshield of our truck. So I was out on my own. I was doing this route. And the day after it happened, I got the call right down the road from where I saw that barn owl. And I was in shock. I didn't freak out. I just called my boss and I was like, I got to go. And I left. And I guess some of my friends and the people around me were saying like, I was really weird because I wasn't like acting like I was sad. I was cracking jokes, but I guess I was just so fucking traumatized that I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, of course. Too many questions, not enough answers.
Yeah. But
so what did you do after you called your boss and said, hey, I need to get the fuck out of here?
I just drove my truck back to the yard and took off. And I guess Haley, so my brother's aunt from his other side called me, and Haley was already over there. And she knew before me. And the only reason I found out what happened was actually my friend in Green River had heard it about my sister, because my sister was living in Green River. And somehow he heard what happened through somebody who was talking to her, and he didn't know which brother it was of hers. So he thought that it might have been me. So he called me and he didn't tell me what happened. I'm like, John, I know something happened, dude. Just tell me what happened. So he's the one who told me what happened. And then I rushed over and met up with Haley at my brother's aunt's house, and the crazy thing after that happened, they kept my brother's body for like a week without us even letting anybody go. He never got identified, nothing. And the people just kept his body for like a week and wouldn't let us do anything with it. We had to move around the funeral a couple times, and it was crazy.
Did they ever give you clarification on it, or was it just under investigation?
What I hear, my brother's uncle went and identified him a little bit after, but I've never gotten clarification on that, so I don't know. It's the whole thing is something I'll never know. My family will never know what really happened because
it's those questions that drive people mad.
Yep. But so the funeral happens, and there's literally like 600 of these dudes there in his club, in that whole thing. That was some of the scariest shit I've ever seen in my life. There was dudes walking around like with their faces covered, carrying AKs, walking around and shit, just like
at
kind
the
of guarding
funeral.
it.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, I didn't know it was going that hard down in the AZ.
I'll tell you a little bit more when we're not on this thing, but it was crazy. It was crazy. And then they ended up like literally burying him by shovel, all of them. They'd take a shovel and bury him. The next guy'd come and they all buried him. The place didn't bury him. They all buried him.
That's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
It was the scariest shit I've ever seen in my life, but there were some scary looking dudes, man.
And not only are you trying to like battle the effects of this on yourself, but you have a niece and nephew and a sister-in-law and your parents. Like, how is this is just all like all this together. It's just so much sadness. Like, how is anybody dealing with this like after a funeral?
Like I said, I was acting like nothing had happened, and everybody thought it was just really weird. But
how long did it take for the shock to wear off, and then it actually set in that he did get murdered?
It was probably a few months.
Months.
Mm-hmm. Probably a few months, because everybody was just tore up. My sister was a wreck. She took it out way, way hard, and she took it into different levels. Like, she had done some crazy shit after that had happened. But my dad, I had to comfort my dad. One lesson I've learned that I think everybody should take is, if you care about somebody, you got to be by them, man. I hate it here. I fucking hate Arizona. The only reason I'm here is because my parents live here. My niece and nephew live here. But my parents, man, that's why I go hang out with them every Sunday, because I love hanging out with my parents. I love hanging out with my dad and my mom. And they've been through some crazy shit right now. My mom's going through some weird shit. And I don't want to, one day they're going to be gone. And I don't want to look back and say, man, I wish I hung out with my parents.
Yeah.
You gotta.
That's the weird thing about being at the age that we're at, is now that reality is becoming more and more true. Is we are the next generation that's going to step up. They will die soon. Not soon, years. I mean, soon, like multiple years. But it's still something you got to start thinking about and piecing together. Jumping back to your brother, or to living in Arizona. How do you perceive Arizona, or living in Arizona after this murder? Is it still messing with you, or?
I'm on edge all the fucking time.
Why?
I'm just not comfortable here. I don't feel comfortable here. I don't belong here. The only reason I've ever been here was to move here because of my brother was here. And he showed me cool shit, and I liked it here because of him. I don't belong here. And I hate it here.
Do you think it's a feeling safe issue?
There's a lot of the people who killed him here, and I know they know who we are, because that's what they kind of do. If they wouldn't have got to him, they probably would have fucked with one of us. And I don't feel safe here. I never feel safe here. I don't feel like my family's safe here. There's too many goddamn fucking people here. just it's just not for me anymore. It's not what I used to. It's not what it used to be to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Does this is there any plan or I guess plan an attack on trying to correct how you're feeling in this place now, or like with a move, or are you searching new stuff, or are you kind of stuck in quicksand?
No, as you know, since I've talked to you before, that me and Haley were kind of butting heads on. She used to like it here for some reason. You know, it's new to her. You guys are from where I'm from, and she'd never experienced this kind of shit before. A big ass city like this, and
Yeah.
sun all the time. And let me tell you what, the sun gets fucking annoying.
Oh
Go
yeah.
away.
Yeah,
But
that's
we've been talking, and I think she was holding on to staying here because she thought that your parents were going to move here. And now that they don't think they want to move here, because honestly, everything here is getting so fucking expensive.
oh
And
yeah.
you can't even live. California is pretty much coming Arizona. Everybody from California is buying shit up
Arizona,
here.
Texas,
Yep.
that whole area is just overrun or getting overrun by people.
So the only people that really had known about this, but I've talked to my parents about it because, like I said, I can't go anywhere without my parents. There's no way I can't. I have to make sure that they're I'm not like, oh my God, mommy's boy or daddy's boy.
Yeah.
I just want to be by my parents. I like hanging out with them, and who's going to take care of them when they can't take care of themselves? I'm going to have to do it. That's my job. That's what they did for me. That's what I have to do for them.
Yeah.
So I've been talking to them, and me and Haley have been talking, and we're going to go look somewhere with less people and not in a motherfucking desert. Because we grew up in a desert, and then I moved to another desert.
Well, you grew up on the extreme spectrums of desert. You grew up in fucking freezing temperature desert, and then fucking hot as balls. You know?
Yeah. What am I doing?
Exactly. You got to find the middle. That's where you want to live.
I mean, I like trees and I like grass, and I want us to get a house. And we've been stuck in this goddamn apartment for almost 3 years because we can't get a house here. It's too expensive. Yeah. And with what I want a yard, and I want grass, and a place for my doggy kids to play, because I'm never having no regular kids.
Oh, I don't believe that shit for a heartbeat. I saw the way my sister looked when my last daughter was born, and I saw her ovaries swelling in her eyes. I just saw it.
She's just gonna have to suppress that, because not up in here.
Not up.
I'll get a puppy.
Not up in here.
Not up in here. But so we've been talking, and we're actually gonna go check a place out, maybe August, and then maybe go check it out in the winter, kind of see what it's like in both. And
noise.
I got my parents in. I told them, if I move, you have to move.
Exactly.
You're moving. Deal with it. And right now they can sell their house for a grip, because it's worth over $100,000 more than they paid for it.
Well, there you go.
So that's good for them.
Exactly.
So
now that you're getting older and realizing that the mental health side of life needs to be tended to, like if you could talk with that 11-year-old boy that just lost a sister, what would you say to him to try to help him through what was about to come or what did come?
I just tell him it'd be okay. It's going to be all right. Everything's going to be fine. Don't get into stupid shit like drinking. That doesn't help. That just ruins everything else. Just hold your family close, hang out with your family. Family's the most important thing, whether it's family you pick or family you have. I mean, some people have some messed up families, and I'm not saying go hang out with them if they suck, but the people you care about, they'll help you out the most.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to talk to people.
Yeah. I'm not a good person to walk around eggshells. I can't. I will crush those eggshells. I'll always be the asshole 100% of the time in a conversation. I have no time for that bullshit.
Yeah.
Goddamn, Mike. I know mine and your relationship was rocky at the beginning, because we met. I don't know. I don't even remember if we met before I went to Afghanistan.
No, I don't think so. Because I think
So
when me and Haley first started getting together, I think you were there,
in
or
Afghanistan,
maybe.
maybe we'll have to talk to her.
Yeah, I'm
But
not too sure.
I remember the first time meeting you, and like because I am very good at like visually patting down people and like profiling them right away. All I saw was the flat bill hat, the Oakley sunglasses, and the truck, and I was like, God damn it, Haley, not an oil field guy. Get the fuck away. And I know I was a fucking dickhead there for a little bit, but that's because I was dealing with my own shit. But getting to know you and getting to know your life and how you got Haley out of rock bottom and got yourself away from shit. I'm forever grateful, Mike, and I am awesome, or I am proud to call you my brother, and I'm there for you 100% of the time, man. I love you, and I thank you for this episode, man. It's not a lot of people have a life that you have or have experienced something like that. Losing two siblings, there's a lot there, man, and that's it's deep and it's hard and it sucks. And I'm glad you're still here with us. One last question before we go: musical influences now that help you through negative self-talk or stuff like that.
Um, I love Yellow Wolf.
Yeah.
I listen to Yellow Wolf every day. Um, the Buffalo. If you never heard the White Buffalo, if you watch Sons of Anarchy, he's like the music on the whole damn show.
Yeah.
And Yellow Wolf.
And Yellow Wolf.
I love Kanye. I know a lot of people give him flack, but to me, I understand him because he has trauma, and all his shit comes through trauma. So I mean, I get it. I get him. So I like Kanye because he kind of helps me. My my go-to happy music is always Rancid. If I listen to Rancid, I'm always in a good mood, no matter what. It's just I could be like down as hell, and I put on some Rancid. I'm like, oh yeah, and I just start jamming. That's my shit, man. I love Rancid.
I'm that way with AFI. AFI is
Oh
my
yeah,
go-to.
I love AFI. Yep.
Anybody else?
Flogging Molly. That's always been one of my favorites. And then I got a couple like sad songs, like Johnny Cash Hurt. That always
Oh yeah.
grabs me. And then my brother, before he passed, he sent us all this song by Stained. You should check it out if you'd like. It's called Something to Remind You. And I never really gave it a listen until after, and I gave it a listen, and it's just it's a brutal song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then,
I give Joe shit because she loves Stained. Stained's good, but it's a
I
little
like
too
Stained.
emotional for me. It hurts me when I listen to
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, me
know,
too.
yeah. I try to
But
keep my distance.
if I'm in that mood, if I'm in that mindset, I throw
Oh
it on
yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
get out it kind of helps me get out the feelings instead of holding them in. You know,
Through all these traumas, did you ever experience social anxiety or like just withdrawal from society? Just
now,
now you feel it?
because I used to talk to everybody and I had all kinds of friends. I don't have one fucking friend here because honestly, I don't really trust anybody. I don't know who anybody is. My sister's ran into people who know some of the people who have done it, and she hangs out with them, but they're not part of it. And I don't want no fucking part of any of that. So I don't.
Yeah.
That's why I got to get out of here. It's not good for me here. I used to talk to everybody, and now I just hang out with my dogs. And the only friends I have are Haley's friends, the ones that she brings in from work or our neighbors that are cool. That's it. So
Well,
I got that now.
I think I think you're at a point to where you're realizing more stuff about yourself, just like anybody in life. You know, you're more wise to yourself or about yourself, and you're starting to realize what you want. And I think once you start taking steps or steps towards a goal, I think that self confidence and that self confidence will come back of having social interaction, but also it'll it's gonna dissipate the anxiety. It'll go away. It's just it's time, and I recommend, Mike. I don't know how you feel about it. I know you're in the States. I know you have to pay for it, but I would recommend therapy, dude. Um, it is so. I go to therapy weekly, And it is so nice to fucking have a third party that isn't my wife or one of my friends that I can just throw all this negative bullshit on, just throw up negativity on somebody, and then walk away leaving just feeling immaculate, 100%. But with that comes a lot of hard work, man. You got to
I've
dive
already
back in. Go
I've
ahead.
already took that step. I Haley started seeing this guy that's at our doctor's. I've seen him once, and then I changed jobs and I had to get new insurance. So I go back to see him on in June, and I think he's going to tell me I have ADD or whatever. He gave me the
Yeah.
test, but I mean, he's like, "Do you think you have it?" Oh yeah, I got it, 100%. I'm ADD as fuck right now.
There's one thing I'll never forget when I was getting tested in fourth grade if I had ADD is they told me to jump on one foot and spell world backwards. And I was jumping on one foot and I started on the D. And I was like, I don't fucking know. I can't concentrate on there. It's like, okay, here's meth.
Yeah. I never was on that. I never took Adderall or none of that shit.
Oh, I think it can be managed with exercise. I've noticed for myself uh, when I have a huge project for school or something and I get really fucking anxious or under pressure because of it, working out, I go run or I do yoga, and then once I kind of beat that anxiety out of me through exercise, I can kind of focus. I'll still have a music or podcast or something else distracting the background while I'm working, but I think you can manage it through exercise.
I get a lot of that
Yeah,
through
yeah, you
work.
do. Yeah, you
I
do.
I'm picking up 44-pound bottles all day long, running up and down stairs, and I get a ton of exercise for sure.
It's good.
So it kind of helps. I still have anxiety, but that's part of like driving around. I am so tired of driving in the city. People cut me off all day long, and it just makes me so mad.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to imagine that I have twin 50 cals that pop out after I hit buttons on my
Right?
steering wheel.
Yeah,
I
it's for
like that.
sure.
I like that.
It's insane, man.
Yeah. Well, Mike, thanks, man, for coming on and telling your story. And like I said before, if you ever need anything, you need an ear, man, I'm here. And I love you, bro.
Love you too. Thanks for the therapy.
All right, man. You have a good day,
Bye bye.
and we're out.